What's up, Gov Seekers? It's I'm in a mysterious place. Can you see me and hear me? Here we go. We're Gov Seeking it hard. It's a hard Gov Seek. Oh, my necklace is weird. It's so off balance. It goes up my neck. That looks even weirder. I'm just gonna center. We just gotta center the hippie beads. You know what I mean? Just get them centered. This virtual background, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. My head's floating around a lot. I just got into a new place, so I'm getting my podcast studio just kind of getting it tweaked and ready. Hot, ready tweaking. Sounds like I'm on meth. I'm just doing a little meth. That's all right, guys. Can I do a little meth without everybody getting weird? God. It's like I can't cook his own meth now without everybody flipping out on him. All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Government Secrets with the two most censored comedians in America, Lee Camp and Graham Elwood.
I was going to say, I thought you were tweaking hard. I thought you've been tweaking hard.
Just meth piping it, bro. It's been awesome meth piping it.
You coming with a virtual background. I'm waiting for one of these weeks. You know, we start the live stream and you're clearly sprinting down an alley while filming, but it's still the virtual background behind you. Just like, okay, let's do the show. I'm like, where the fuck? What is happening?
Just go, 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 go. So do you have a virtual background?
Sean in the comments beat me to it. You were saying you're getting your studio ready in your new place. I was like, I'm wondering how many tax are involved.
Oh.
Whether you have a good tax supplier.
I have to find a tack mule to smuggle some in.
Oh, not up the old back door, I hope.
Yeah, I got a balloon.
Tax. That's a terrible choice.
I have a balloon full of tax in my rectum. Because I'm in a country that's anti-tax.
I don't know what happened. I just had a balloon full of tax in my colon, and it didn't work well.
I don't know what could go wrong. I don't know what could go wrong. I just had no idea.
You know, these people that sign you up for drug muling, they just don't give you the proper training. I feel like the training these days has just gone downhill.
It really has. The drug mule training programs have really gone downhill.
So we got a big show. We got the glorious U.S. history of child labor, and we've got presidential crimes.
It's really fantastic. Presidential labor and crimes, whatever. I'm mixing both.
And these are and I can tell simply by the title. This is a little different than your normal day-to-day presidential crimes, which go on, every single day.
Yeah,
these are the ones they were convicted for. So this is the system decided what they had done was wrong, which is rare.
Yeah. This is before it was just like, presidents can do what they want. It was exciting. So I think we can do mine if you want.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. So we have. I went to. There it is. Let's get it going. This is so great. Segment 1, presidents that were convicted. And it just made me, going through this today made me kind of yearn for a simpler time, Lee. You know what I mean? Just
it's like back when your presidents were just guilty of, putting one quarter in the newspaper stand, but taking two newspapers.
That was the simplest of crimes. So here we go. All right, I'm going to have to kill my virtual background because it's slowing my computer up too much.
I had a feeling that might happen.
Oh, everything is too slow. All right. Nothing is...
But we're all gonna miss certain segments of your head disappearing periodically, though.
Yeah, I know. It's something we're all just going to deal with. There, my head's disappearing. Dang it. Okay. So here we go. There's a bunch of them. I mean, it kind of goes all the way back to the first, the first congressman to be recommended for censure after spitting on Roger Griswold was Matthew Lyon, who was a DR from Vermont, which is like, I don't know, Democratic Republican, and he spit on a Federalist from Connecticut.
So this is a time in America's history where spitting was frowned upon on someone. Because nowadays, I feel like, I mean, if like Rand Paul spit on another congressman, I don't know that it would even make the news.
No, it wouldn't. They just start selling bibs at Congress or something.
Now, granted, maybe you're going to get to this. There was a time when Congress members were beating each other senseless on the floor. So I guess there's been ups and downs. You know, that's the great thing about our country. Ups and downs. Sometimes we beat fellow congressmen on the floor to within inches of their life. Sometimes we're not in that kind of phase, you know?
I think we should bring that back, quite honestly. I think we should just let them just beat the crap out of each other. So the censure failed to pass, but separately, Matthew Lyon was found guilty of violating the Alien and Sedition Acts and sentenced to 4 months in jail, during which he was reelected. So he was reelected, not the first time someone's been reelected from jail.
No. We have most Americans, I feel like, when they're voting, it doesn't matter whether the candidate's a criminal or not. That doesn't really factor into usually.
No, it's not that big of a thing. It shouldn't be such a thing.
Often a war criminal. We're fine with that too.
Totally fine. Oh God, we love those. Charles F. Mitchell, a Republican from New York, was a new U.S. representative from New York's 33rd district who was convicted of forgery and sentenced to 1 year in prison and fine, though he was paroled early due to poor health. Oh.
I wonder if he was forging like a check or something, or whether he was forging like a children's book. It was like he totally faked this children's book.
I bet you he was forging a check. I bet you that's what this guy was doing. Robert Smalls, a Republican from South Carolina, was a representative who was charged with accepting a $5,000 or the equivalent, a $5,000 bribe, which in 2024 would be about $150,000. In 1877, in relation to a government printing contract, and found guilty. But he was pardoned by the South Carolina governor. Oh, the wealthy and powerful taking care of each other. Oh God, it's so wonderful when they do that.
Look how far we've come. The head of, what is he? The immigration czar, whatever the stupid term is, Tom Homan. He was found by the FBI set him up for a sting operation last year, and this is when he had been in the Obama administration, but he was not. Trump was not in office the second time around yet. And Homan took a $50,000 like sack of money. Like it was not like a bank transfer. This is like a bag of notes, as far as I can tell. And so he takes this $50,000 to basically he thinks it's business interests are paying him to get Trump, once Trump's in office, to do something for them. The FBI basically says, like, we caught him. And then Trump gets into office and it all just kind of goes away. Like the FBI is just like, yeah, we don't care if we took $50,000 as a bribe to manipulate Trump. Like who gives a shit? Are you kidding? It's the Wild West.
You know, a gym bag full of 50 grand, you know what I mean? Tomato, you know, we just let it happen.
And at that same time, Hunter Biden was getting 50 grand a month for being on a Ukrainian energy board. So why are we splitting hairs here, folks?
Hey, it's just the cost of doing business, Lee Camp. You know what I mean? One guy's getting it every month. One guy's getting a gym bag. Let's not turn it into a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's not turn it into a thing. So then what other fine, upstanding people do we have? Then during the Theodore Roosevelt presidency in the legislative branch, Senator, a Republican from Kansas, was convicted of accepting a $2,500 bribe, which again was around 85, 90 grand, today's money. Senator from Oregon was involved in the Oregon land fraud scandal, for which he was indicted and convicted while sitting U.S. senator. I feel like that's going to be a separate segment down the road, the Oregon land fraud scandal.
Yeah, I would want to know some more details about it, because here's the thing: is the whole United States is based on stealing land. Like, that is
right.
That is what we did. It's what we do. It's who we are. Okay, so I'm assuming this guy must have stolen land from other white people or rich people.
Yeah, that's what
one in the same at that time, because stealing it from others is totally not a problem.
It's not at all. I mean, you get elected president, you get a coin, you get statues built for you when you do kind of stuff like that. But this guy,
and they steal the land to put the statue on too.
So it's all stolen. Everything's a stolen thing on top of a stolen thing on top of a stolen. Oh, they're doing great work. During the William Howard Taft presidency, William Lorimer, a senator, a Republican from Illinois, was the blonde boss of Chicago and found guilty of accepting a lot of bribes happening. Really, a politician in Chicago accepting bribes? That's never happened before or since.
You know what? I think you hear of bribes less now, except for the Homan one I just mentioned. But you hear it far more less. Yeah, well done, Lee. You hear about it far less is because now it's just kind of like legal and normalized. It's like
they totally legalized.
Can just dump millions into your charitable trust or whatever the fuck. Like,
they made it legal. The super PACs and the lobby groups, they just made it legal. It's like just
it only made the news. It really only made the news because Homan had a bag. Like, if you have a stack, there's a tote bag involved, then it's arrest worthy. If it's just them. If it's just a routing number on a screen from a corporation that technically is headquartered in the Cayman Islands, then it's fine.
You're fine. And if it's like it's a campaign donation, you're fine. But like, everyone must have gone, what were you doing? Why just run it? Just launder it through your campaign. What are you doing taking a bag of money? Like,
yeah, honestly, Homan, you heard of Bitcoin? Jesus, it's not a big deal. Come on, man. Fuck it, do Dogecoin. Just there's no reason.
Create a meme coin. Pump and dump it like the president's doing.
There's no reason to have a sack of dirty paper under a table at a Denny's. What's your problem?
What are you doing? What year is it?
He's like, I want to be paid in sacks of cotton. I only accept cotton. A man's gold.
I want a bag of railroad ties is what I want.
I want a bag of living eels. That is the only way I'll accept payment, because I can sell those to my local doctor.
Oh, you're going to love this one. Albert Fail, a Republican, who was the Secretary of Interior, was bribed by Harry F. Sinclair for control of the Teapot Dome federal oil reserves in Wyoming. He was the first U.S. cabinet member to ever be convicted. He served 2 years in prison.
We did do a segment on Teapot Dome before. Did you say his last name is Fail?
Yes.
That's appropriate. That's perfect. All right.
Yep. Albert Fail.
That was the first Fail meme. That was the first
was that guy getting money at the Teapot Dome? Just like,
just a photo of him. Like,
this is John Langley under Calvin Coolidge presidency from 23 to 29 was convicted of violating the Volstead Act, which is prohibition. He had been caught trying to bribe a prohibition officer. He was sentenced to 2 years, after which his wife Catherine Langley ran for Congress in his place and won 2 full terms in 1926. Wow.
Is this
Look
any
at her.
connection to Langley as in CIA headquarters?
Could be.
Different Langley?
A bunch of drunks started it. I don't know. Her husband was a rummy, so she got elected. So maybe she started Langley. I don't know.
Listen, if it were going on now, I'd be with the bootleggers. So.
Oh, for sure. I would absolutely. I'd start drinking again if they made it illegal.
Yeah. No, you'd still be sober. You'd be like, but I'm a big supporter, so I'm
totally. I would start a bootlegging business if they outlawed it. I'd be the only sober bootlegger. It'd be great.
Yeah.
John Huppel, a Democrat from California, was convicted. This is a night between FDR's when FDR was in office. Convicted of selling an appointment to West Point Military Academy. He was fined $1,000, which is the equivalent of about 23 grand today, and sentenced to 4 to 12 months in jail. Ooh, wow.
Selling an appointment to West Point.
Isn't that crazy? Harry Truman. A lot of people expected bribes.
Yeah, let me guess. You're going to say he was convicted of dropping nuclear weapons that killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people, right?
No. Harry Truman commuted the sentence of a guy that was busted for fraud.
Fraud. So not the killing hundreds of thousands.
No.
That was totes cool.
That was totes my goats cool, bro. Andrew J. May was Democratic, convicted of accepting bribes for war munitions manufacture, was sentenced to 9 months in prison. You're going to hear a pattern here, after which he was pardoned by Truman. Truman let a lot of his boys off. J. Parnell Thomas was convicted of salary fraud and given an 18-month sentence and a fine. He was imprisoned in Danbury Prison. After serving 18 months, he was pardoned by Harry Truman in 1950.
All this pardoning would give you the impression that it's like a big club and you're not in it, you know?
Yeah,
it would starting to feel like these guys are all a little bit in it together.
I don't know. Maybe it just he forgot he was gonna say he just accidentally stamped his pardon stamp accidentally and they had to do it because he was president. I don't know. I'm just trying to give guys the benefit of the doubt.
And of course, all these guys we're talking about are the exceptions that actually were prosecuted for something.
These are the guys that got caught.
The norm would be to either not catch them or not prosecute them or not look into it or look the other way.
Yeah. Or get paid to look the other way or whatever. Under JFK, Thomas Johnson, a Democrat from Maryland, was convicted of conspiracy and conflict of interest regarding the receipt of illegal gratuities. It's the only one under JFK. Under Johnson, Frank Boykin, a Democrat from Alabama, was convicted of conspiracy and conflict of interest. Daniel Brewster, a Democrat from Maryland, pleaded no contest to accepting an unlawful gratuity without corrupt intent. What does that mean?
Your last guy, you said, was convicted of something connected to conflict of interest. Could you imagine if they were convicting people now?
Oh, God.
Congress, in the judiciary, the presidency for conflict of interest?
It's unbelievable.
Trump literally will give meetings where he's like, yeah, we're going to ethnically cleanse Gaza and I'm going to make a lot of money there. So,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's insane. Under Nixon, there's a bunch of people here. There's all the Watergate people, John Mitchell and all these guys, Ehrlichman, all these guys, John Dean, they're all, that's a big long list. Gerald Ford, who of course let Nixon off the hook. Earl Butz was a Republican. He was the Secretary of Agriculture. He was charged with failing to report more than $148,000 in income in 1978. Butz pleaded guilty to tax evasion charge and was sentenced to 30 days in jail and 5 years of probation and was ordered to make restitution. He served 25 days before his, so he still got the most, like, the easiest slap on the wrist, which is 30 days, and still didn't have to do that.
Yeah, after 25, they're like, this has gone way overboard.
Oh, come on. There was Richard Hanna, Democrat from California, convicted of an influence buying scandal. This is a good one here. Frank Bosco, a Democrat from New York, this is under Ford, sentenced to 5 years in jail and fined $10,000. This is the equivalent of $63,000 today for conspiracy to accept bribes from a reputed mafia figure who sought truck leasing contracts from the post office and loans to buy trucks.
Nice.
The New York guy was tied up in the mob. That's weird. There was James Hastings was everybody. There's all like most of these people were in New York, convicted of kickbacks and mail fraud, and he took money from his employees for personal use. Served 14 months at Allenwood Penitentiary. Oh wow, that seems this is crazy.
There's so many of these that you're listing. I'm just like, that's just called the system these days.
I know.
Like taking money from your employees. Like that's just called standard operating procedure.
Yeah. It's all just like these guys, they legalized all of this now.
I just had, so there's certain kind of podcasts that gotten really successful out there where the person pretends to have epiphanies throughout the whole thing. I'm going to start doing that more. And I wanted to start right now. I think that like, it's almost like the system is a crime. Like it's almost like as if the people at the top don't have the best interests of the people that are not ruling over things. Like they're kind of thinking for like themselves, and they're like trying to take the money and stuff for themselves. This is crazy. I really think we could triple our fan base with that.
Yes, just act dumb and say we didn't know.
You need epiphanies, so you have to pretend like you didn't know anything beforehand. Yeah.
There was, this is a good one under Jimmy Carter. J. Herbert Burke, a Republican from Florida, pleaded guilty to disorderly intoxication, resisting arrest, and
disorderly intoxication.
Yeah. An additional charge of witness tampering. So after he was sentenced 3 months plus fines. Wow. Reagan, well, there's the whole Iran-Contra thing, so that's a pretty big one. There's a lot of controversy under Reagan. Under George Herbert. What's that?
I was just saying, but it had some sort of echo.
Oh. There's some, yeah. Then we go into George Herbert Walker Bush presidency. You had Catalina Vasquez Villalpando, Treasurer of the United States, pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice and tax evasion in 1992. Jim Kay accepted $250,000 in illegal 1992 campaign contributions and was sentenced to 2 months house arrest.
We're getting into Epstein deal territory.
Oh, right? Yeah, we are.
You can show up to the prison like if you feel like it. You don't have to really. I mean, if just like it would just, people would like it if you kind of came on like a Tuesday every once in a while or something.
Just show your face. Just show your face once a week. Show your
face. Like, people, also the prisoners like it. They're like, oh, he's one of us. Like, just whenever it's your convenience. I don't want to stress you out.
Nobody's saying you can't fly in your jet. We're just saying you got to poke your head into the prison every once in a while.
Yep. And you can bring your jet to the prison. We're fine with that.
Yeah, we'll have a landing strip for you. It's great.
Put in a landing strip. Yeah.
The Walter Nixon, a judge of the United States District Court of the Southern District of Mississippi, was convicted of perjury, sentenced to 5 years in prison, impeached by the House, and convicted by the Senate. Well, that one looks like it stuck pretty hard.
That's pretty rare.
Alcee Hastings, a judge in the Southern District of Florida, was impeached by the House and convicted by the Senate of soliciting a bribe in 1989. Subsequently, he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1992.
Well, that was the top of his resume. Good at taking bribes.
They're like, you're in. This guy, oh, so great.
Really, you don't hear anything about, except for this idiot Homan. You don't hear anything about bribes anymore because it's just business. It's just like
dumb.
And the other thing is, our public representatives, the people in Congress, the people in your local legislature, whatever, they're expected to just, or it's expected by them that they can just get rich through the system of being a person in power. They don't need to take bribes anymore.
No.
Like, they don't need a sack of money under the table. They just go and get on some board of a company and give so much input, you know. Really, JP Morgan Chase having so-and-so as their advisor, that ex-general, let me tell you, he gives them so much information that they pay him $1 million a year. Yeah, you don't need bribes.
You don't need bribes too. The system is a bribe. Everybody in the House and the Senate does insider trading. They all do it. That you can track all of it. All of them, like one of their spouses or whatever, a family member buys a bunch of stock, and then they pass some bill that benefits that sector or whatever.
Just turns out their dog is a big investor in AI chips. You know, it's kind of weird.
And that dog,
look, it was all he's doing. I didn't impact him at all. He just. My Chihuahua was just really into NVIDIA. I don't know what it was.
And bought the stock right before we passed a law that benefited NVIDIA. Yeah. I don't know.
Listen, dogs will be dogs. He's one of the smarter ones, and I've asked him if I could borrow some of his money. He won't give me any of it. It's all his.
Well, that'd be illegal if I took my dog's money.
Yeah, it'd be illegal because I had something to do with that stock going crazy.
Well, there's a lot under Bill Clinton. Not shocking enough.
A lot of people under Bill Clinton too.
Yeah, a lot of there's Wade Sanders, Deputy Assistant U.S. Secretary of the Navy, was sentenced to 37 months in prison for possession of child pornography. Wow, that's weird. The Clinton administration had a sex thing, huh? The House banking scandal. The House of Representatives bank found that 450 members had overdrawn their checking accounts, but had not been penalized. 6 were convicted of charges, most only tangentially related to the House bank itself. 22 more, and the most prolific overdrafters were singled out by the House Ethics Committee. Carol Hubbard, a Democrat.
House Ethics Committee is a bit of an oxymoron.
It really is. There's no such thing. Carol Hubbard was convicted of illegally funding money to his wife in 1992 campaign to succeed him in Congress. Carl Perkins, a Democrat from Kentucky, pleaded guilty to check kiting scheme involving several financial institutions, including the House Bank. The Congressional Post Office scandal was a conspiracy to embezzle House Post Office money through stamps and postal vouchers to congressmen.
Those were the days.
Right.
The best scheme you could come up with was stamp smuggling.
Yeah. Austin Murphy was convicted of voter fraud for filling out absentee ballots of members of a nursing home.
Nice.
That just warms my Chicago heart because every year a bunch of dead Chicago people vote. And I just think that's such good for democracy. You know,
it is. And, it says something about Chicagoans that, like, even once they're dead, they're like, I still need to do my civic duty.
They beyond the grave, they're participating in democracy. And that's why that city is the city that works. That's what it's called.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Gee, this is weird. Mel Reynolds, a Democrat from Illinois, was convicted of 12 counts of sexual assault, obstruction of justice, and solicitation of child pornography in 1997. Huh.
I refuse to believe it.
Yeah. The Clintons, really? And their people? Interesting. George W. Bush, John, chairman of the Federal Housing Finance Board, pleads guilty to lying to Congress.
See, that's a problem. Lying to Congress is a real problem. Lying by Congress is celebrated and played on your evening news.
Yes. Lester Crawford.
The key is the preposition there.
That's it. That's just that little. Let's see. There's all the Scooter Libby stuff with George W. Bush. Obviously, Lester Crawford, Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, pleaded guilty to conflict of interest and received 3 years suspended sentence and fined 90. Conflict of interest, that doesn't even exist anymore. Like when what's his name, Lloyd Austin became the Secretary of Defense under Biden.
Oh, the Raytheon. He was on the board of Raytheon, and initially it was supposed to be like illegal or against the rules for someone to be running the Pentagon and having also collected money from, like, you know, been on boards of weapons contractors and stuff. But they started giving permission for them to do that. Like Mad Dog Mattis got special permission to be to be running the Pentagon or whatever, and then they did the same for Lloyd Austin, and now it's just the norm. Now it's just like, oh, conflict of interest, schmonflict of interest.
Yeah, now it does. Yeah, there's nothing now. It's nothing.
They added that to the Constitution in, like, you know, calligraphy handwriting. Conflict of interest, schmonflict of interest. It was added just a few months ago.
Yeah, and they put in parentheses, don't worry about it. The Scott Block, U.S. Special Counsel, pleaded guilty to criminal contempt of Congress for willfully and unlawfully withholding pertinent information from a House committee investigating a decision to have several government computers wiped.
Well, as Hillary Clinton said, what do you mean wiped? Do you mean like with a cloth? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know how computers work. I'm too busy putting hot sauce in my purse.
That was one of the best defenses ever. Did you have the DNC servers wiped? What is wiped? Who is wiped? You mean like their butts? Do servers have butts? What kind of computer servers are we talking? Are we talking about humans that serve you computers? You have to wipe their butts? Yes, Hillary, exactly. That's exactly right.
I love when she plays the dingy housewife, this like savvy cutthroat politician, when she's like, I don't know why Bill was on Epstein's plane. He guess he likes flying. Like, money laundering, Frank Valencia, Democrat from North Carolina. But God, it's really long under George W. Bush. It's really long.
Yeah, give us the Cliff Notes.
So just a lot of them.
It'd be great if there were, you know, like a lot in the Cliff Notes, like books. There was one that said the crimes of George W. Bush.
Yeah. Then under Obama, there was David Petraeus, director of the CIA. On April 23rd, 2015, a federal judge sentenced Petraeus to 2 years probation plus a fine of $100,000 for providing classified information to his girlfriend.
To his mistress. It was interesting pillow talk. The pillow talk sounds amazing between those.
Yeah. Mark Salinger was convicted of obstruction of justice, Republican from Michigan. Jesse Jackson Jr. pleaded guilty for mail fraud in connection with the misuse of $750,000 in campaign funds. Oh my God, there's just so many. God, there's a lot under Obama. It's amazing. It just, the list gets longer and longer the older these guys get. Yeah, this campaign contributions. There's just more, and then Trump. You know, it's Mike Flynn.
Trump is just an emoji of the guy going like, I don't know. It's just too much. My hands are tired from typing.
And then Biden had a handful of guys misdemeanor to pulling a fire alarm. That's Jamal. So here's the reason why Trump.
Did you really skip over Trump because it's too much to list?
No. It's Trump is so Trump and Biden. There's like 300 Trump and 400 Biden, and because
we've given up.
we've given up. Everything's legal now. We're just like, okay, it's so corrupt. They're just like, why even bother?
We legit, we're like, oh, fuck it. The dude
Just-
has his son on an oil board in Ukraine. I don't know. I can't. He got a prosecutor in Ukraine fired by withholding billions of dollars. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Forget it. Just
Oh,
Trump's sons are making a meme coin, or so, I don't even know what that is. Just
Trump has an 8-year-old son who just made $100 million on something because of a Trump tweet. What just happened?
I just forget it. I can't, just unless they kill someone on live TV, forget it. Like there's nothing we can do. So that's those are some of the people that have been arrested during the presidencies. America, the best. Woo woo.
I believe what we're under now is called a kleptocracy, ruled by thieves.
It is a kleptocracy run by oligarchs. That is what America is. So enjoy it, everybody. Here's segment 2. Lee Camp talking about child labor exploitation in the Big Apple.
Yeah, I wanted to go through a little bit of the history of child labor, and it's a wonderful and impressive history of child labor in this country, and then get to one specific moment where the children rose up. But the nature of work changed during the Industrial Revolution because, you know, you go back into the 1800s and a lot of families were like, they'd have kids to basically work the farms. It was like you were giving birth to employees. Like it was more that than children. But then at the Industrial Revolution, manufacturing was now performed by machines and children could operate them. I'm sure there weren't many limbs lopped off when you had children operating the machines. Not at all. But this was particularly true in the southern cotton mills in 1904. 25% of all mill workers were children. 25%. And almost half were under the age of 12. And in Pennsylvania, 14,000 children used machines to sort coal. I mean, it must have been...
Oh, my God.
It must have been crazy to, the coal sorters. That was like a common job for children, apparently. I don't know if, I used to make this joke, like, oh, their little fingers can, do better with doing the sewing, or like, but I think legit, like, oh, they're smaller. They can crawl inside the machine when it gets jammed and,
Just send them down that dark hole and dig out some coal.
Yeah, they were called one group was called Breaker Boys. Hold on, I'll show this photo. This is in 1900, and literally these are the kids with soot all over their faces. They separated the impurities from the coal by hand in a coal breaker. So basically they put the kids into these giant, tankers or whatever, tanks where the coal was, and literally the kids go through the coal and find the pieces that are impurities and pull them out.
That sounds like a fun game to play as a kid.
Also, no health ramifications, luckily.
No, none. None of that game. No.
Totally fine.
There's nothing wrong with being 19 years old and having black lung because you were.
Nope. Nothing wrong with it. In cities, boys and girls stood on street corners hawking newspapers. More on this later. Up to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Employers believe these hours would leave them no time to spend in, quote, idleness or vicious amusements. Graham, I think what you and I do for a living is vicious amusements.
This is vicious amusement. This is absolutely vicious amusement.
No, but this was one of the, a lot of the bullshit, awful shit that America's done. The mental gymnastics around it is really just masterful. And this was one of those things. It was the kids have to work or else they might be playing. They might be involved in amusements. They might be just running around doing Lord knows what.
Having fun, laughing. We can't have that. Have them separate coal.
No, they'll be idle. They'll be idle like the rich. So anyway, they would put them to work doing all these things. I don't know why newspapers was one of the main things. I think maybe because people are more likely to buy newspapers from children because they look cute, I guess. I don't know. Mine workers under age 16 were one of the reasons children were doing the newspapers and doing other things was because you could pay them a lot less. You could say, they're just a child. It's like, well, they're working full time. What's it matter what age they are? Yeah. Pay them less. Mine workers under the age of 16 were 3 times more likely to die than were adults. 75% of coal sorters who were killed were children under 16. Doctors were now documenting how child labor was associated with poor growth, malnutrition, higher incidence of infections, and system-specific diseases, behavioral and emotional disorders. What? You don't say.
Really? Putting kids down in a coal mine and say, hey, sift through this noxious crap? And they...
12 hours for 12 hours a day seem to have some sort of impact on them.
That's weird.
It's unclear what. I don't trust the scientists. I think scientists don't know what they're talking about. A rising standard of living in the new century reduced the demand for child labor, and reformers raised public awareness about children were growing up with little or no education. So basically, they'd grow up, they would have worked this job their whole lives, and they could do nothing else because they got no education. So basically, once you're a newspaper boy, you're a newspaper boy for life, which is tough because then you aren't a boy.
Right.
Starting in the early 1900s, some parents had comfortable incomes and could now afford to give their children a childhood. This is where the term childhood originated. They no longer viewed their offspring as little adults. Instead, childhood was time to learn, grow, and prepare for a career. The first federal bill to end child labor was introduced in 1906. But child labor laws that eventually passed in 1960 and 1918 were both overturned by the Supreme Court for being unconstitutional. You can't stop children from being abused, said the Supreme Court. In 1925,
the Supreme Court said that.
Yeah. Oh. So basically, it was like it is today, the Supreme Court. The other thing is, which I haven't mentioned, is we're gutting these child labor laws right now. We're working on allowing more children to go back to coal sorting.
Great.
In 1924, Congress passed a constitutional amendment on child labor, but it stalled during ratification. Even without the laws, demand for child labor diminished over the next 2 decades. Many jobs that once went to children have been taken over by immigrants.
Oh.
You don't have to pay them as much, right? They're not real people.
And it's okay when they die, too.
It's okay when they die. It's very similar to children. I've been saying this for years. Like the non-whites are similar to children. They don't have to pay them as much. They can die easier. Yeah.
But then you got the Irish immigrants and the others, whatever. They're not really full people either. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't call them white. They're reddish.
Reddish. They're reddish. That red group. The red folks.
In 1938, Congress passed the Fair Labor and Standards Act, which ensured young people would be safe at work and wouldn't jeopardize their well-being. Education. Let's make it easier for children to work, please. Could we do that at least?
Come on. That's why these kids today are so soft. They're not in a coal mine getting black lung.
You know what it was? It was all the powerful speeches at the time demanding incrementalism. Here, the incrementalists, dude, they were some of the most fiery, just Molotov cocktails. And incrementalism.
There's nothing more passionate than an incremental centrist.
Yeah, it's a lot like Braveheart. There was a similar fella named Incremental Heart.
Now's not the time.
But soon. However,
but soon, somewhere down the road, we might get to it.
Oh my God, all those fiery speeches. Not now, but soon. Not now, but soon. Oh, the crowds, they get fired up for that shit, man. They really do. So let's see. Oh, so the Congress passed the Fair Labor and Standards Act, which was supposed to make it safer for them to work, but it only ended child labor for 6% of the 850,000 children working in 1938. They were still working on farms, bowling alleys, performing delivery messenger services. The law was amended in 1949 to extend the ban and included jobs in transportation, communication, and public utilities. Today, child labor is returning with the employment of unaccompanied migrant children. New York Times found 12-year-old roofers in Tennessee and Florida, miners working in slaughterhouses in 3 states, kids operating sawmills on overnight shifts. Jesus, on overnight shifts. These children, she says,
on a saw, working with a saw overnight.
Yeah. And I don't know if folks know this, but children more than adults need their nighttime sleep and are more likely to pass out in the middle of the night. Okay, so now we get to the children rising up.
Oh.
The once forgotten, now famous, this is from the Zinn Education Project. We often quote from them. Now famous New York Newsboy strike of 1899 started on July 18th when Newsies, that's what they were called, in Long Island City, Queens, caught the evening journal delivery man selling them short bundles. So I guess the way it was is these kids would buy the bundles from the delivery man. I don't know. I don't quite understand how the process worked, but it turned out he was shorting them. So they tipped over his wagon, chased him up the street, and triumphantly carried off armloads of papers, inspiring what nearly became a children's general strike. Children are, honestly, they're apparently better workers and people than adults.
Yeah, what do they care about? They got nothing to lose. They're just like, the hell with this. We're doing it.
Over the next 2 weeks, boys in all 5 boroughs and in cities and towns throughout the Northeast refused to sell William Randolph Hearst's Evening Journal and Joseph Pulitzer's New York World, the 2 largest circulation newspapers in the nation. Their actions emboldened newsboys as far as Cincinnati, Ohio, Lexington, Kentucky, and Nashville, Tennessee, and boot blacks and messengers in other cities to stop work and demand. So basically the other child jobs, the other child workers started catching on. Like, yeah, we should strike too. Demand better terms from their own bosses. Far from aberrations, these strikes capped a decade of discontent in the boy newspaper trade.
Nice.
The revolt in Queens rekindled the boys' discontent over price hikes imposed on them by Hearst and Pulitzer. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the term Pulitzer has gotten this noble meaning from the Pulitzer Prize, but it doesn't surprise me. He was an asshole capitalist. That's how you get an award named after yourself.
Yeah, and weird that William Randolph Hearst would be involved in some sort of child exploitation thing. He's had a pretty good track record, doesn't he?
I saw Citizen Kane. He seemed like a good fella. So seemed like an upright citizen. It also coincided with a national strike wave, a local heat wave, and a militant protest by streetcar motormen in Brooklyn and Manhattan that kept police tied up. Many working class children, boys and girls, blocked tracks with debris and threw stones at non-union drivers. I love basically the children are the ones holding the line, and they're trying to stop the adult scabs from going to work.
Yeah, these are some badass kids.
I know. Redressing grievances about paying wartime prices for peacetime papers gave newsies the chance to mobilize on their own behalf. So I guess obviously prices went down during the war because everyone didn't have as much money, and then the newspaper business, the war ends, and they're like, let's keep paying the war prices.
Yeah.
300 of them met in City Hall Park on July 19th and pledged to strike if their demands weren't met. Go ahead and strike, said the World's circulation manager. Following the example of adult trade unionists, the boys elected officers, formed a discipline committee, and sent envoys to spread the word. And then I love the way this is written. So you can't not hear it in this voice. This is a quote from one of the newsboys. You don't sell no more World and Journal, or you get your face punched in, see?
Oh. Yeah, You're going to get a little Moxie sandwich there, Governor.
You're gonna get a little face music, if you know what I mean.
Bass music. Gonna play the banjo with those gums of yours. They keep flapping.
Newsboys refused to handle the, quote, yellow kid dailies from Wall Street to Harlem, Brooklyn to Bronx, Staten Island, towns Clifton, Stapleton, Tompkinsville. we brought the news to Staten Island towns, Clifton, Stapleton, Tompkinsville. Newsboys also honored the strike in the Westchester County communities of Yonkers, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Mamaroneck, and White Plains, and upstate in Troy, Saratoga, Rochester. Garden State Newsboys joined in as well, starting with Jersey City, Hoboken, Newark, Plainfield, then spreading to Bayonne, Trenton, Patterson, Elizabeth, Asbury Park. New Englanders got in on the boycott, etc., etc. Okay, now we get to the real good part. This has a lot of the nicknames of some of these boys. Nicknames. What happened to our nickname game, Graham? Where did it go?
It's
Nicknames were the shit. Now we got nothing. Kid Blink, the red-haired spokesman for the strikers in New York, was a charismatic 18-year-old Italian-American with a bum eye. Kid Blink. Dave Simons, also 18, was a Jewish boxing champion in the 105-pound class. Brooklyn's leaders included the Irish duo of Racetrack Higgins.
Racetrack Higgins. That's the best nickname I've ever heard.
And Spot Conlon. Spot being his nickname.
Racetrack Higgins.
And you know,
hey, Racetrack.
They always had some sense behind it. It wasn't just made up. It was like either he was always at the racetrack or he was a fast kid or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Kid Blink's got a bad eye.
Oh, I love it.
You're not going to be shocked about this nickname. African-American Black Diamond was elected to the Manhattan Strike Committee, and a kid known only as Black Wonder, literally they can't find his real name, held strikers spellbound with his speeches at the Brooklyn post office. Can you imagine being a 14-year-old giving killer speeches outside on a literal soapbox outside the the post office? And then there was Crutch Morris, served on the executive committee in New York, and Blind Huber co-chaired the consultation of war held outside for the Ferry Building in Hoboken. There were few girls who sold, or almost no girls who sold papers or participated in the strike. However, there was one little Joan of Arc named Park Row. She was credited with driving off two big strike breakers whom the boys had failed to subdue.
Nice.
Little Joan of Arc.
These kids must have been just tough as nails. These are just like fire-breathing,
oh my God,
Wolverines.
Here's another great quote from a striker named Billy talking to the Jersey City Evening Journal. Weasons has got to stand by one another these days, these times, because if we don't, sure as hell we'll get it in the neck from them capitalists. We gotta stick together. We'll take it in the neck from them capitalists.
Take it in the neck from them Oh, that's beautiful. Just beautiful.
I want these kids to run the government.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
like
I want Racetrack McGee to get back into business or whatever.
I want Racetrack McGee and Crutch Higgins and Blink Simon to fucking Kid Blink to take over the government.
Yes.
I'd be all for it.
Oh.
Although there's some bad news coming up. Although portrayed by the press in comic fashion, strike violence was no joke. Thank goodness for that. Some scabs wielded table legs and carried revolvers. One forced a loaded gun down Kid Blink's throat. The strikers played rough as well. They armed themselves with horseshoes. you imagine you're getting pelted with horseshoes because you tried to scab deliver the newspapers? They had horseshoes, baseball bats, barrel staves, and wheel spokes. Your clubs ain't meant for toothpicks. Spot Conlon told him. Basically, the clubs we're holding are not toothpicks.
Wow.
I love these kids.
These kids are the best, just beating up scabs and strike breakers with horseshoes.
Bats and horseshoes.
This is fantastic. I wish I had this kind of childhood.
And who's to say America doesn't have any positive history? This is positive American history.
This is really warming my heart. This is what I wish I'd loved. I want to see this.
On July 24th, the Newsboys held a mass meeting in Broome Street. A capacity crowd of 2,000 packed the place, while another 3,000 boys remained outside. It really is like a Lord of the Flies, because you got to figure these are like 8-year-olds getting on the subway to attend their union meeting.
It's crazy. I mean, like, and it's being run by 18-year-olds. You know, like this is amazing. This is an amazing story. It's one of the happiest stories we've ever had on this show.
Yeah, it totally is. Totally is. Kid Blink reminded them of their victory in 1893 against the world's no return policy and urged them to stick together like plaster. Ain't that 10 cents worth as much as to us as it is to Hearst and Pulitzer, who are millionaires? Well, I guess it is. If they can't spare it, how can we?
Nice.
The struck papers had experienced an estimated 20% drop in sales and lost advertising revenue due to the strike. Desperate to break the strike, circulators, managers asked Salvation Army lasses to sell the two papers, but the girls, Salvation Army girls, but the girls refused to break the boycott. The publishers then tried to buy off strike leaders for $300 and $600 a piece, which I assume was more money than these kids had ever seen in their lives. But unfortunately, they appeared to succeed buying off some of the strike leaders. Kid Blink and Dave Simon showed up on Park Row on July 26th with bundles of World and Journal papers saying they had negotiated a settlement. Kid Blink sported a new suit and unwisely flashed a roll of bills. The strike committee put the pair on trial. Oh my God. I wish I could see the little kid trial. Both escaped conviction, but were removed from office. The strike ended in New York on August 1st without meeting or vote and limped to a close a few days later in New Jersey. We might have gotten more, one newsie explained to a customer, but the leaders were bought off. The strike had lingering consequences for both sides. Hearst felt betrayed by his fellow publishers and withdrew from their association. He and Pulitzer agreed to fix the price of the daily and Sunday offerings. That's supposed to be illegal nowadays, but not really. And established their own return policies. The Newsboys Union continued under an adult president who advocated wearing union badges and affiliating with other labor organizations. Their first action, decided August 13th at a mass meeting of 2,000 on the Lower East Side, was to pledge not to sell copies of the New York Sun until the paper took back its locked-out printers. The next week, 200 newsboys brought up the rear of a solidarity parade. So it still ended with, it seems, more union and more union cooperation from the newsies than before. But they did not win that strike. But
because they got bought off, man. That's what
you would have thought, that the one impenetrable, group would be 14-year-olds, that they just couldn't. The morals of 14-year-olds, you would assume, is better than anything in the adult world, but
yeah, no,
guess not.
No. Well, that sounds like this is a fantastic episode.
I thought I killed it. I got one more photo there of one of the newsboys.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes. Fantastic episode. I thought we had some good news there. of
I loved it.
of our child laborers fighting back.
Well, Lee, where can people find you online and get involved in everything that you're doing in the Lee Campverse?
Yeah. Are we doing an extra segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
So
go
we'll
over to
have an
Patreon.
Yeah, for folks watching, we have an extra segment coming up. Patreon.com/government secrets. If you become a member over there, you will unlock 80 some extra segments instantaneously that you can enjoy whenever you feel like it, whenever you're bored. But yes, in terms of my other stuff, I have a new episode of Unredacted Tonight, comes out tonight. That's at youtube.com/moment of clarity. But the big thing I've been working on is my Substack. Actually seem like I'm not as depressed there. Facebook has started showing me my analytics, and I have like 100,000 views on my Facebook page over the past several weeks. 0 new followers. And literally it'll say like 0. It'll say like, this post got 20,000 views, 0 new followers. This post got 15,000 views, 0 new followers. This post got, I love you when Facebook shows their own shadow banning.
Yeah,
but they're letting me know how shadow banned I am. But Substack seems a little bit better. So that's my name's Real Lee Camp on Substack. So look up realleecamp.substack.com. Free to join over there. And I've been putting out columns 2-3 times a week, new columns.
Awesome. Check out my new Bitcoin Hollywood YouTube channel, also bitcoin-hollywood.com website. Go to grahamallard.com for all that stuff. I've got shows. If you're in Asia, I've got shows in Pattaya, Thailand this Saturday, and other ones coming up that I'll be releasing more tour dates at grahamallard.com.
And I'm doing my first live show in forever. December 12th, New York City with John F. O'Donnell. And we're performing at the Cobra Club. And you can get those tickets, tinyurl.com/Lee Cobra Club.
Sweet. All right, guys, go over to patreon.com/government secrets. This is Brad Government Secrets, episode 189. Corrupt politicians and the newsies fight back with shoehorns.
See you in a minute.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.